All right. This is the Big Douglas Show. And after a long await, we finally have my good friend Manny Chokuba from all over the place. Manny, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you having me on the show, man. It means a lot.
Now I'm excited about it. All right. Well, look, it's Friday. People that watch this show know that it's the birthday game time. I got a list of celebrities, and we'll see how close you can get, Manny.
Okay.
Let's start out. The legend Patti LaBelle has a birthday this week. Patti LaBelle.
Whew. Patti LaBelle, I would say her birthday is Saturday.
No, no. How old do you think
Oh,
she is?
how
How
old? How
old do you
old?
think she
Okay.
is?
Patti LaBelle, I'll probably say she's 71.
77 for Patti
Woo!
LaBelle. 77.
Man. I wanted to go higher, but I was like, okay.
You got to be
Man.
nice to the ladies. Be nice
Right,
to the
right, right.
ladies. Uh, to me, the greatest rapper of all time, Andre 3000, has a
Okay.
birthday this week. How old do you think Andre 3000 is?
42.
46. 46.
Mm.
I was surprised by that because I figured he was. I'm 43. I thought he was closer to me. Let's see. And from Cheech and Chong, Tommy Chong has a birthday. How old do you think Tommy Chong is?
Man, 38.
Oh, there. Oh, flip it. He's 83. 83
Oh,
years old
good
for
Lord.
Tommy
Oh,
Chong.
good Lord.
All right. Look, I was excited to have you on the show today because I know that you can do a couple of different things. Let's start out with basketball.
All right.
Okay. Let's talk about best duos in the NBA currently.
Oh, man, that's easy.
I have a feeling I know which way you're going here. Let's hear it.
It's LeBron and AD. Not just because I'm a Lakers fan. When you look at what LeBron and AD bring to the table, AD, he's one of the premier defenders in the NBA when he's healthy. You know what I'm saying? And we saw it last night versus the Phoenix Suns. When AD's in the game, he changes the entire game. When you drive, he's long enough to, contest every shot. He's quick enough to, block shots off the backboard. So AD and LeBron, they're the best duo to me because they can drop 25 a game. They can impact the game with rebounds. They can impact the game with passing the ball, shooting, defense. There's nothing that they can't do. That's what separates them versus a guy like James Harden and let's say KD. This was a big topic today. I was
Which
listening to
which I would
Stephen
I
A.
which
Smith.
I would contend that's it. KD being the greatest basketball player on the planet today. Today. Not
Okay.
yesterday. LeBron, I think, was the greatest basketball player on the planet yesterday. A healthy
Okay.
KD, I find it hard to argue that KD isn't the best basketball player on the planet when healthy today.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you that. I mean, I can't
And
argue
and
that
then
because I'd rather have
and then
KD
you add in
anyways.
Harden, who has
Mm-hmm.
multiple scoring titles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Harden got MVP yet? No. Did he
Yeah,
get an
he
MVP
did.
two
He
years,
did.
3 years ago?
Yeah, he did.
So I get where it's 80. And by the way, I'm always surprised. I always forget that 80 plays the four. I always think
Mm-hmm.
of him as a five,
He's a
which is
four.
what makes that team really good, right? The
Yep.
acquisition of Drummond really makes it hard for them to play. And if Kyle Kuzma is going to pick up, 12, 15 points a game, they're going to be hard to beat. Is
Yep.
that how you see the league shaking out right now? Is that the finals in your mind?
That should be the finals. But I've said on my show that I believe that the 76ers are the best team in the East. This was before the Harden trade. After the
Talking
Harden
sports
trade,
with Manning.
yes, sir. So I still believe that the 76ers are still the best team in the East. I
Really?
understand what KD brings to the table. I understand what James Harden brings to the table. But we're talking about a team, the Sixers, that they can score. They can score. They are an underrated scoring team. They can score, but the beauty of the Sixers is they have defenders on all levels. People don't believe in a guy like Seth Curry. He's a really good defender. Tobias Harris, he's a decent defender. Danny Green, a very good defender. Matisse Thybulle. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And then
That
Embiid
Thibault, that
proves
Thibault kid is something else. I didn't see
he
him
is
coming right.
amazing.
He's
He's
nasty.
amazing. So when you look at what they bring defensively, I think that helps them to get by a team like the Nets. And then the Nets, they don't really have a guy inside that can defend in terms of like a center or a power forward that you believe in. Blake Griffin, he's a has been. Claxton, he's okay. DeAndre Jordan, he's not even playing. So when it boils down to it, defense is what's going to win your championship. So I still think that the Sixers come out of the East, even a team like the Bucks. So it's not like the Nets just have it made. They they might have to go against.
And the other two for the Bucks have been playing really well, right?
Man, they are scaring me right now. The Bucks are scaring me right now. They're scaring me right now. And all three teams are great. I'm not saying that the Lakers are going to beat either one of those guys, but all three teams are great. If I had to choose a team to play, it'll be the Brooklyn Nets. Why? Because they don't scare me defensively. That's just my opinion. I understand what James Harden does. I understand what a guy like KD does. But who the heck is guarding AD? They don't have a guy for AD. So
let's do the Lakers. This was amazing, right? This was all over the place. First time the Lakers won at home in a playoff game since 2013. Kobe was playing.
Yeah, it's been a while, man.
Because
it's been a while.
Yesterday. For them to get back to where they want to, though, they've got to beat the preemptive MVP. They are playing really well. How do they beat the Joker and get on?
Okay, a team like, let's say, the Nuggets, right? That's a favorable matchup. Any team that has a center that plays traditional basketball, it's a matchup that the Lakers want. Not that the Lakers will win, but that's what we want. So when you have a guy like the Joker, guess what? Drummond gets to play, and AD gets to play the four. So you have two of those big guys.
He eats Drummond for lunch though every day of the week.
But you know what though? That's fine. That's fine. The thing is, okay, if you're playing a team like, let's say, Denver, for me, I'd rather play Denver than play Portland. Portland, we can't mess with those guards. Those guards that they got, we can't mess with those guards. They're just too good.
What is Portland one that makes everybody so excited? I forget. Maybe you can remind me, because I understand he hits big shots, but what have they really? I don't.
They've done nothing. They're just a dangerous team. They're just a dangerous team.
Lillard hits big buckets and
big buckets.
Sure. Is that why? I mean, is it Dame all by himself?
It's Dame and CJ McCullough, and when you add a guy like Norman Powell, it just gives them a 3-guard monster. That's not the strength of the Lakers. Lakers got some guards that can defend, but we don't have guards that can score. So guess what? Those guys get to rest on defense. Who is Dame guarding? You got Dennis Schroeder when he decides to, drive to the bucket.
I like Schroeder.
I like Schroeder too, but it's not every game that you see Schroeder being aggressive. He has been aggressive for the last 2 games, and that's the Schroeder that we need moving forward. He's averaging 20 a game the last 2 games. So, yeah, Denver is an intriguing matchup. And the way that Denver is set up, that means we get to play Montrezl Harrell more. He hasn't played the last 2 games, so you get to play Montrezl Harrell. You get to play Drummond. I know. Drummond, you get to play Gasol. So I love the Denver matchup. It's just a better matchup base for us. Gasol does a decent job versus Joker. Who can really stop Joker? Nobody. He's just he's a monster. Yeah. He's a unicorn, But everybody else, Michael Porter Jr., who I love, who's going to be a superstar,
I really thought the Wizards were going to make a trade for him when he was kind of banged up 2 or 3 years ago. I like him a lot.
Just trade up one spot. The Wizards should have traded up one spot to get this guy, and they didn't. I mean, that pissed me off too, because I'm also a Wizards fan. So that pissed me off, and it just is what it is. Now we're just watching from the sidelines because we're going to be out. We're going to be out.
Will we get one, Manny? Will the Wiz get one?
Wiz get one. Right? Wiz get one at home. And I'm hoping it's game 3. Game 4 is going to be tough. If you're 0-3. Trying to get that game 4, it might be a shoot. I think game 3 is the game to get, and you're going to see a big Russell Westbrook game.
If he's healthy.
You're going to see if he's healthy. That's the thing with the Wizards' health. But
what happened to the Clippers, Manny?
Oh man! So the Clippers,
it's incredible.
They suck. The Clippers.
They had a championship team 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Coaching.
That's kind of hard to say.
Is that the Doc Rivers effect?
It's not the Clippers. They have a good team, right? They're built off of perimeter defense.
They have two top 15 players on the team that usually finds you much success. They're getting
exactly, but it's the way that they're built. When we talk about duos, 2 wing guys, I haven't seen 2 wing guys do it besides KD and Steph. But let's not pretend like that team wasn't stacked. So when you look at how
Stephen Clay did it before Katie got there.
That is true. That is true. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. That was the first time I seen a jump shooting team just shoot jumpers and win the whole thing. So that was incredible. That was remarkable. But when you look at how the Clippers are built, you have Kawhi, you have Paul George, right? But even last year, they didn't have a point guard. Beverly's not a point guard. He's a combo guard that defends. Okay. Big man, they didn't have a center. You can say Zubac all you want. He is just he's a jag. He's another guy. He's solid. I love Zubac. Magic Johnson stole him away from us and gave him to the Clippers for free. But what I'm saying is, when you look at this year's team, the Clippers, their offense came from Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell pick and roll. That's where their offense came from. When in the times when you don't see Paul George or Kawhi, right? Now you get a Rondo, you get Ibaka. You're not even playing those guys. What the heck is Ty Lue doing? Ty Lue is not a coach.
That's what I said.
He's not a coach.
The only thing on that, I know they gave pieces away to put those two big players on the team, but to me, the biggest thing that happened there was that they let Doc go and picked up Ty Lue, and
you know what
I
else?
didn't understand it then, Manny, and I don't understand it now.
Let me tell you where else the Clippers messed up. You traded for Luke Kennard, and you gave him $64 million for 4 years, something like that. That's nuts. He's not worth that kind of money. You're paying him on potential, and he's not even good enough, right?
Oh,
then you have
tell
Terrence.
us we signed Bertans, so you have to tell us about paying a shooter too much.
Hey, I'd rather have Bertans than have that guy. At least Bertans, when he's hot, he's hot. Kennard, what has he done? Has he ever been hot? He's supposed to be a specialist. He's supposed to be a specialist.
I think we're talking about punching me in the face or kicking me in the dick. Neither one is what you want a whole lot of.
No, I mean, I feel you. All I'm saying is that Bertans has done more in 1 year, meaning last season, than Kennard has done his whole life. That's all I'm saying.
In case I don't talk to you before then, at least on the show, tell me who you think is going to be in the finals, and then we'll move on to the NFL.
Okay. In the finals, I have the Lakers versus the Sixers.
Okay. Let's I worked off this game when we thought Pooh would be with us, but I still think we can make it work. We'll call it Am I Crazy or Not?
Okay.
Rodgers get paid big money and stays in Green Bay. Is that crazy?
That's crazy. You crazy.
Okay.
You crazy.
You think he's out?
He's gone, man. He's gone. And if he's not gone, he's not getting money. So
better chance he's in Green Bay or Washington?
Green Bay. I would love for him to be in DC. I promise you, I'm an Aaron Rodgers guy. I hope somehow we get him, but I don't see it. I don't want to get my hopes up either. So I don't even think about it.
That's fair. Trey, am I crazy? Trey Lance starts week 1 for the 49ers.
Yeah, you're crazy. Yep. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starter.
No way. No way. I'll bet. I'll take all that action. They did not listen to what I'm telling you. They did not give up all those assets for Trey Lance, multiple first-round picks.
Here's the thing.
And hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
I got to assume that Kyle thinks that Trey is better than Robert, and they killed the league year 1 with Robert. So that's all I'm saying. Is history says Kyle can take a guy that really isn't ready, wrap an offensive around him that exploits other teams' weaknesses. Trey Lance, week 1, 49ers.
I don't think Trey's ready. That's just me. I'd rather see Trey.
Robert wasn't ready. Robert
is different. Robert was proven in college. Trey, we don't really. I mean, Robert has a better resume than Trey.
Yes, they had that high flying offense, and they won a lot of games at Baylor. They went down. Kyle went down, got the playbook from Baylor, and totally revamped it. That's what they had. So
okay. So you think he's going to take that same playbook from Baylor and make it work with Trey?
No, I think they'll take the playbook from North Dakota State, wrap it with what they've already been doing, and roll him out there week 1. You heard it here.
That'll be interesting. Okay.
Mac Jones beats out Cam Newton for the job week 1.
No, not happening. Cam is the starter week 1.
Is he the starter week 18?
Probably not. Probably not, because if they have a terrible record, like the moment they are out of playoff contention, in comes Mac Jones.
Well, here's the interesting thing, right? And this is the only reason I bring this up, because it seems like a no-brainer. However, everybody that was yelling about Mac Jones to the 49ers was based on the idea that he was the most ready to play right now, and you didn't give up all those assets for a guy that wasn't ready to play right now. And we know that Belichick and Saban are, best friends. I think that it's still Cam Newton. I think that Jones is a whole lot closer starting week 1 than we realize. He's got one of those weird things where the players like, that's a dude, right? And you don't think he's a dude until you start playing with him. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, this guy really gets it. So I'm not here to bet you money. Like I really think Lance does week 1. I'm not sure Jones does, but I think it's a lot closer than people think.
Right. There were 2 teams where I felt Mac Jones could go in and fit. One was the Patriots, and number 2 was the Saints. I just think that those are the kind of offenses or kind of systems and cultures that he can come in, maybe not right away, but have franchises and a good front office and a good system that can put him in place to win in the future. And when I say win, means to be successful. I'm not saying he's going to win games, but what I am saying is that I do like the fit with the Patriots, and I think that he comes in at some point in the season. I just don't know, when he comes in, but I definitely love Mac Jones on the Patriots.
Tim Tebow is on that roster week 1.
I want to say yes.
I don't know. I haven't decided. I was getting ready to say no, but it seems it's funny. Somebody on the TV today said, just why didn't they just make him, an assistant coach if they really just wanted him in there for his character and work ethic?
Right.
I don't care. Let's move on. I don't even know why. I don't even know.
I wanted to work for him. I wanted to work for him. I want to see a story. I want to see a story.
I hope he fails again. God bless him. God bless a man that fails every time and wakes up smelling better than when he went to bed at night. I'd never understand how that works, but like our good pal Dan Snyder, right? He has walked out of all this smelling like crisp as a daisy.
Man.
How that happened and how he just keeps rolling out of them. All right, I've got this is the last one for the NFL. We'll switch to Washington. It's incredible. One last just for the league. Easier to get to the Super Bowl this year from the AFC?
I don't know. I think the AFC. And that's a good one. That's a good one. I would say
it feels like the AFC is the toughest to get through, but the NFC is top loaded.
No, NFC is loaded, man. AFC, I would probably say it's easier to get there if you avoid a couple teams. Let's say there's a scenario where the Chiefs play the Bills before the conference finals or whatever conference championship. So I say it's easier to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC than it is in the NFC. NFC's loaded, man.
Well, and the reason that gives me pause on the NFC side is you got to beat Tom.
You got to beat Tom.
And the side just says you're not going to.
Yeah.
It's so incredible. We can't even do regular football stuff because we've got nothing to go on because Tom's pinned to all of them.
Exactly. Now, let me ask you this. What side, who do you think has the better quarterbacks, the AFC or the NFC?
Well, we can do this real quick, right? It's so start at the top of the NFC with Tom Brady. Okay.
Yep.
We'll give him that just because it was. Let's just go through the playoffs. You've got Aaron Rodgers. Right?
That's 2.
You've got Russell Wilson.
That's 3.
Okay. To me, Dak Prescott is way up high on that list.
You gotta have him. You gotta have him. We can hate him all we want. He's good.
Yes.
He's good.
Yes.
He's good.
And then, I think you've got to put Murray on the list. Is he 5 in the NFC? Just on our little quick experiment here, those are the 5 that I get through. And again, Fitzpatrick is a top 10 quarterback the last 2 years in a row. So I mean,
Yeah.
I won't put him on there, but again, I yell this all the time on this show. He was going to the playoffs with Miami last year
He
until they
was,
yanked him.
and then
They
they
yanked
messed
him
it up.
on
Exactly.
purpose.
Miami
They
messed
yanked
it
him
up.
on purpose.
Yep.
Absolutely, they were going to the
Yep.
playoffs. But
Yep.
but to the other side of that, what you're asking there is then you get to the AFC side, and then you're spoiled a little bit, right? Because you've got the best quarterback in football.
Mhm.
You've got you just got
Up and
MVPs
coming.
all over the place, right? I mean, Lamar
Yep.
Jackson is an MVP. Baker
Lamar,
Mayfield played really
Mahomes.
well last year.
Yeah. Josh
Mahomes,
Allen.
Josh Allen is an absolute stud
Mhm.
who gets not nearly enough credit. And then the young guns too, right? Like Herbert had a really good
Yeah.
year last year.
Yep.
So
Yep. And Big Ben, if he's healthy, he's
that's
still
fair. He's got a year or two left in him, I'd
yeah,
say, right?
yeah. Most definitely, most definitely. He's a guy that he can perform. He can perform. He had a bad season last year, but let's not get it twisted. Big Ben, he's a player when he wants to be. So yeah, I guess the AFC. Yeah, the AFC.
And that's the toughest division in football.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
It
Because
really is.
Joe Burrow was balling until he got hurt
Oh
last
yeah,
year.
he is on that squad, Joe Burrow. Yeah,
And he's
AFC by
healthy.
far. AFC by far. Yeah, man.
Let's run
AFC's
the, and
loaded.
I've got the same list of questions for Washington.
Okay.
Here's how we'll start it. Ryan Fitzpatrick, tell me if I'm crazy. Ryan Fitzpatrick has more yards than Kirk Cousins next year. Passing.
I agree. Fitzpatrick will have more yards than Kirk Cousins.
And I asked Kevin Sheehan the other day, I put the number at 4,500. He went under. I'm telling you, I think that 4,500 is going to be close. The idea for Washington this year is pumping the ball down the field. You substitute Mahomes for number 11. I think that's where they're heading for. They would rather mistakes with Fitzpatrick. That was what Andy Reid always said, right? I would rather a guy throw an interception knowing he feels like he could throw a touchdown the very next play.
Right.
Than a guy that is afraid to turn the ball over. And that's what we had last year. And you could tell it made Ron upset.
Oh, yeah. Ron even
upset.
tested Dwayne. He tested Dwayne. He goes, this is 4th and goal. It was 4th and goal from like the 15 or 20-yard line versus the Ravens. And he wanted to see a test. He wanted to see, is this guy going to throw it? He didn't throw it. I don't even know what Dwayne Haskins did. And he failed the test. And after that, that was all she wrote.
The other interesting thing about Ron, I was talking to my brother about this right before we started this interview. And it's like Ron tells us the truth all the time. And we're so used to like listening to coach speak and not believing. I mean, Ron said that the team in Charlotte he'd learned from, and they will be making changes appropriately. They lost that Super Bowl because Denver had a incredible defense, that their one good player, their one great player, their one MVP player couldn't beat that defense. That's exactly what they've done here this year. He has said we would rather have the pieces, and it's not what everybody's done, but I've called it the Tom Brady method. I think that is what Washington's trying to do. They'll build a roster and then just slide in quarterbacks every couple of years that can steer the ship. Watch Matt Ryan be the next quarterback for the Washington football team in 2 years.
I will not be surprised.
I'm sure. I think while everybody else is going after let's prove it quarterbacks, I think Washington may be priming themselves, just load the roster and have quarterbacks that don't F it up.
Exactly.
All right.
I agree.
Tell me I'm crazy. Brandon Sheriff gets an extension and stays in Washington.
You're crazy. He's gone. His bags are packed. I took him to the airport yesterday. He's out of here after this season.
I think I followed along with whatever was left over. You're absolutely right. There's no way. I don't see it at all.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Tell me I'm crazy. McLaren goes over 1,000 yards this year.
Oh, he's going over 1,000. I got him pegged for 1,500. I'm crazy.
I don't think you're crazy. I think he could go off, particularly if we're talking all-purpose yards, because I really think they're going to get him in some of that stuff too.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm crazy. Gibson has 10 total touchdowns this year.
No, that's doable. That's very doable. I can definitely see it.
You're huge into fantasy football. He's getting drafted really high, right?
He is. You took him in a second.
I did.
And it's a shocker. Because when I started doing some drafts, like startups, he was going like in the 3rd, maybe 4th round. Now he's going early second, mid second. You know, he
Manny, I
hasn't really
took him
practiced.
early because I'm with you. I did 2 drafts before the one we did, always expecting he'd be there in the 3rd or 4th, and he was gone, man.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly. So if he's your guy, you got to grab him. And I think this year he gets more touches, he gets more yards, he gets more touchdowns. He's going to be very, very explosive. And if he can get some of that receiving work, which we're all hoping that he does, if he gets that, man, you're looking at Gibson as a top 5, top 7 running back easily. If he's
Totally
getting
agree.
like the receptions, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm excited for Gibson this season, man. I think this is a
I do
year
too.
with
I
that
think
improved offensive line. Come
I think
on,
they
man.
are.
I'm
I think they
excited.
are too. App, call me I'm crazy. App Key doesn't make the final roster this year.
Oh, you're not crazy. He's out of here. I talked
They
about him
they've
yesterday.
been working him at corner, right?
I saw that, man. Like they love his speed so much because
Yes.
he's a decent special teams player. So I can't
Yes.
say otherwise. He's a decent special teams player, and you can't teach speed. But I think he's gone. If they can find a spot for him at corner, then maybe. But in terms of safety or
Now
keeping five,
Del Rio said that they had wanted that last year. They actually saw him more at corner because all he had to do was, pay attention to a half of the field
half the
and
field, yeah.
look forward. But without training camps, they weren't able to experiment with that last year, and so they just kept him where he was. Interesting to see. I'm with you. I don't think he makes the roster.
Mm-hmm.
They are loaded with decent to good players in the back end.
Yep.
Charles finishes the year at right guard.
Ooh, that's a tough one. So who's playing left guard?
Sheriff will play left guard the rest of this year. He'll
Okay.
finish his. I can't imagine they let him go. They don't want to let him go. They've got a brand new right tackle over there.
Yeah.
I'm sure they want him to say, I'm with you from earlier. I don't think it happens, but I think he
Yeah.
finishes this season with the
Yeah, I
team.
think he finishes this season.
So then you're figuring it on the right side. Then you're trying to figure out they brought in Flowers. Schweitzer played well, and I keep hearing that they like Flower. They keep like Sadiq at guard there. So
yeah, I don't
that's the
see Sadiq
question.
starting this year. I see him as a depth piece this year, but next year he's the guy.
Which is why the question was, do you see
Yeah.
him finishing the season at right guard? Because I think Flowers probably starts the season.
Yeah,
Where
it's left
Schweitzer
guard.
wanted
Yeah.
to
Right.
the right guard spot.
Yeah.
The left guard. I
So
had this backwards. I'm sorry, I had this backwards. Sheriff at right guard for us.
yeah.
Left guard. Does Charles finish at left guard?
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
it's better now. That's a better question because that's what threw me
Yeah.
off. I was like, "Whoa!"
That's
If
my
that
fault.
happens, then okay.
No, that's my fault. That's my fault.
Yes, I do. I do see him finishing the season as a left guard because at that point you're trying to figure out, can this be your guy? You know, a guy like Flowers is only on a 1-year deal essentially, even though he's on contract for 2 years, so you can kind of let him go, and it's not guaranteed. So yes, I can definitely see Charles finishing the season out as the left guard. Yes, I can see that.
The only problem is if Charles doesn't start out the season at left guard and he finishes the season at left guard, you either had an injury or the team
yeah.
or the team is not playing well.
That's true.
And
That's
I
true.
expect the team to play well. So interest that's why I brought up the question because I
think
it's interesting that way.
It's
right,
a good
Manny.
one. It's a little tricky, but that's a good one.
You've given me more time than I expected, and I really appreciate it.
No
Tell
problem.
the folks where to find you and what you got coming up next.
Absolutely. And you guys can find me on TS with Manny. You guys can find me at Manny Chokuba. You guys can find me at Back Row Redskins. So I got the Talking Sports with Manny YouTube channel. It's been blowing up the last, I say, 5 weeks. Got some many little videos going on. I have a camp battle series. I started off with a Dax Mill and a Adam Humphries. So you guys check that out on YouTube. And the next video that I have coming up is probably going to be Kelvin Harmon and AGG or some other position battle. So that's what I have going on right now. Got the Back Row Redskins show. I do a live show on the YouTube channel every Wednesday night at 9:30 Central. So that's what I got going on, guys.
My brother, thank you for coming on with us today.
My brother, appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, man. You take care. Peace.